Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Okay, so about 2.5 hours away from tip-off between the Lakers and the Heat, the first game of the NBA Finals 2020 Bubble Edition, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I honestly, I'm almost in a space where it's almost surreal. It's like I'm not able to properly capture the moment as it pertains to having been a Laker fan, um, and having endured the 10 years that we have, year in and year out, uh, having our set of trials. I don't want to sit here and make it sound like it was worse than it is, in major respect to franchises who've gone through infinitely worse, obviously, and who have never won, or who've had droughts that are just unbearable. I want to respect you guys and say that my plight and my understanding as a Laker fan doesn't even compare. But with that being said, for a team who's used to winning, 10 years really is a hell of a stretch, for us to endure based on our level of comfort. You know what I mean? It's just like being a very, very rich person and then having to spend a month in humble situations without any money. It's like, yeah, it's not going to be so hard for those who are used to it, but for someone who has to make the adjustment is drastic, and that serves its purpose in understanding that. But for me as a Laker fan, I feel like we're back where we belong, but at the same time, it's like, am I really grasping this? I don't think I've even really understood it to be what it is. For all the many years uh, that we were in the draft lottery, excited about draft stock, what our draft stocks look like in terms of what teams would get what, and trying to see where your team would fall in. All the many nights that I had trying to figure out who we wanted to draft, just to get us to this point. Paying attention to off seasons and having our heart broken here and there, guys not wanting to show up for us. Carmelo Anthony said no, LaMarcus Aldridge said no, Paul George said no. Like, there's so many different things to point at that the Lakers have endured getting to this point from where we were last, when we were winning championships. You remember when the confetti was raining down on Kobe's head with his arms out, holding the ball in one hand and his arms stretched out to the left, standing on the press box, looking up at the fans, screaming his name after beating the Celtics. And you just didn't realize how long the road would be before you got to an opportunity to play for a championship again as a fan, or whether watch your team play for a championship. Think about some of the lineups that the Lakers have run down there since then. The guys that we've watched grow up right before our very eyes. Players that we gave up on sooner than maybe we would have wanted to for the sake of this opportunity here. Guys like Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle, Larry Nance Jr., Jordan Clarkson. I mean, the names just keep on coming, man. We've had so many young players. Josh Hart, Svi Mykhailiuk, Thomas Bryant. So many guys that have gone on to make names of themselves in this league that were with us during this stretch that I'm referring to, that we either drafted or acquired, and watched them grow. And, to see what they've become, and to see B.I. turn into an all-star, see Juju go get paid with New York and develop properly in New Orleans, to see what the Lakers are able to accomplish in getting Anthony Davis. It's just so much to really wrap your head around, to finally be in the place where you ultimately wanted to be. The goal was ultimately to get back to a point where we can get to a finals and win a championship. All those things were of the dream of this moment. So to say that I actually grasp it as a fan, I'm pretty certain I don't. I'm pretty certain that, looking at it from my perspective, I haven't taken into all of that into account when looking at our current space. Right now, I'm just looking at it as a fan, looking at it in terms of these are the opponents that we're facing, what do we need to do to beat these opponents? That's kind of how I've been looking at it. But to just stop and say, wow, thank God, thank our lucky stars, thank whatever you believe in. We're here again, for this moment. And I feel like Miami Heat fans can relate to that because they've had a stretch, even though it wasn't 10 years. LeBron left them and they haven't been where they needed to be. They had a good plan and a trusty organizational front office, and they've had to endure. I think their return to this point has been as smooth as you could possibly ask for because they had Pat Riley. They had Eric Spoelstra. They always had the luxury of South Beach as a destination. And they had their picks and things like that. They didn't give away the farm to acquire the big three, the Heatles. You know what I mean? So when LeBron left, they still had their assets in place. And because of it, they've been able to keep a fairly good team. Now, they did give that money to Whiteside, and that was a huge mistake. And it did set them back a couple years. But they've been able to bounce back phenomenally. And over the last 3 drafts, they've been knocking it out of the park. Heck, the last 2 drafts, more than anything, they just struck gold. So you got to give the Miami Heat a lot of credit and congratulate their fans. I don't have any gripe with them. I used to hate the Heatles. Why did I hate the Heatles? Because I couldn't stand LeBron James. So needless to say, my concerns there have changed and shifted, and I no longer feel the way that I did, to say the least. And I'm glad. I'm glad the way LeBron's career has gone, that he was able to be someone that I could appreciate and root for and see the benefit of his greatness. That's something that you thought it could be possible because you knew the Lakers were a worthwhile destination and you knew Kobe would retire. So I thought that LeBron may come to the Lakers, but it's good to see that it actually came to be. Glad he's here. He is the best player in the league. I do have him ranked above a lot of great players of all time. And he's just adding to his greatness. And if he can help us get these next 4 wins, I know a lot of people say it's not going to make a difference, but it does. It does. And you know why it does? Because he's doing it with the Lakers. That's why it matters. Every great player who's ever played this game has had either a championship ring with the Lakers, lost to the Lakers in a very, very meaningful battle, one way or another, or just couldn't get past the Lakers to save their souls. The Lakers have been prominent. We've been to the finals more than anybody else. We've been in the playoffs more than anyone else. We've won more than anyone else. And if we win these next 4 games, we've tied championships with the Celtics, who won most of their championships when there was only about 8 teams running around. So by far the greatest franchise of all time, the Los Angeles Lakers, back where we belong. We are snobs as fans, I'll admit it. We are spoiled. We are elite. We believe ourselves to be better than most, I think, but we also have been humbled greatly by not only the last 10 years, but by the last 8 months have humbled us a great deal. And man, obviously you think about Kobe Bryant and those who didn't, who perished with him. When you think about Dr. Buss, you think about Tex Winter, you think about guys who've played for this thing who are not here anymore, like Sean Rooks, Jerome Kersey, guys who've played in the purple and gold, Wilt Chamberlain, George Mikan. Just think about everybody, man, and you look up and you say, wow, all of those people contributed to us getting to a point where we could actually tie the Celtics. We could actually tie the Celtics for championships. That's important. The Celtics have had this lead. We haven't been tied with them. I haven't checked, but I would imagine we haven't been tied with them in a very, very, very long time. Over 50 years for sure. I don't know that we've ever been tied with them, to be honest. So for us to be in a position to rise and meet them in championships so that we can say that we are on par with them, and if we get them in championships, there is no question about who's the greatest franchise in basketball. That means a lot to me as a fan. It means a lot to all of us as fans, and we want that. We want to be able to say we are the best franchise and mean it, because we have everything but the rings to show for it. And yeah, that's what I gotta say, man. It's not as much about X's and O's for me right now. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking more about trying to grasp the moment and really appreciate the fact that my team, of whom I've been rooting for since I was 9 years old, is going to get a chance to win me my 6th ring as a fan, and that's a beautiful thing. Tonight, the Lakers are going to have to continue to focus on rebounding the ball. Obviously, that's been a deficiency for us in the last series, so we want to do that. We want to make sure that we get out in transition and play sound defense without fouling. And that's going to be key. You don't want to put a good shooting team at the line too often. They have good free throw shooters on their squad. As I heard, I believe it was LeBron James who said in one of the pressers, they don't have anybody that you can disrespect. There's no player on this team that you want to leave open for 3-pointer shots. Not even guys on the back of their bench. Everybody is capable. Everybody is deadly. You must play sound defense against this team for 48 minutes. If we do that, our talent is superior to their talent, and we should win. But if we show up nonchalant, if we don't respect the 3-point threat, if we don't respect that they're going to throw a lot of different defensive schemes at us, so we can't just put our heads down and barrel down the middle like we don't have any sense. If we read the defense and take what they give us, be smart about foul trouble. Again, don't foul. I think we're going to win this series, and I think we can win it in 5. I've already predicted 5. 6 will be fine. 4 will be fine. I'm not stuck on 5 as it pertains to my prediction. 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there. I respect Miami. They could take one from us. And if we don't show up, they could take many from us. So we got to do just that. Playoff Rondo, I'm looking at you, buddy. I'm looking at you. We're going to need you. Come off that bench and continue to facilitate. The more you're playing well, the better you're playing, the better we are as a team. That's what I've come to notice. And believe it or not, his rebounding is essential. Rajon Rondo is a fantastic rebounder from the point guard position. And we need rebounds from everywhere. I want to show appreciation to LeBron James for taking on the rebounding challenge. He's been putting up double-digit rebounds throughout the entire series against Denver, and we needed that. And he's going to have to do the same in this series. Bam Adebayo is going to give us all we can handle. It's going to be a physical game. I expect some of these games to be nasty in terms of muck-it-up games, not a whole lot of rhythm, physical play, gritty basketball. I expect some of those games to be that way. So keep your eyes open, Laker fans, for a whole lot of whistles, because I expect there to be whistles, and hopefully it's us getting those calls, sending AD and LeBron to the line. Shooters got to shoot. Can't miss shots, not in this series. If you don't have an open shot, don't take a contested one. Possessions matter. Every possession matters. And yeah, looking forward to what we got going on today, man. Game 1, an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. Can't wait. Thank you guys for watching. My name is BDF44, and I'm out.